Clifford W. Beer Centennial Award to Brandon Staglin. Brandon's life-changing experience that has led to his successful advocacy and fundraising for mental health research is awe-inspiring and mirrors the legacy of Clifford Beers, the man. Brandon's story is also a reminder of the capriciousness of mental illness. Clifford Beers, as you've heard, was a Yale graduate, class of 1897. He suffered from depression and paranoia. He was institutionalized multiple times and experienced and witnessed serious maltreatment at the hands of the hospital staff, which was typical of that era. After the publication of his book, A Mind That Found Itself, an autobiographical account of the abuse he suffered, he gained national support for the medical profession, and this began the national movement to reform the treatment of the mentally ill. Brendan, a National Merit Scholar and a future astronautical engineer, was just completing his freshman year at Dartmouth when he had a psychotic break. In his own words, he lost half his self. His identity had vanished. He was soon diagnosed with schizophrenia. That might have been the undoing for some families, but not the Staglins. Sure, the family was devastated and confused, but they worked together to overcome what could have been a diagnosis leading to a life very different from the one Brandon lives. Instead of becoming discouraged, Brandon and his family looked for help, gathered information, and networked with specialists and experts through friends and acquaintances. They were powerfully determined. Their efforts culminated in a 14-year journey to madness and back, in the creation of the International Mental Health Research Organization, an organization that has raised nearly $150 million to fund research for new therapies and new treatments with the hope that one day brain diseases can be completely eliminated. As Communications Director for IMHRO, Brandon gives voice to the organization and its mission, and no finer voice could it have. I'm going to ask our senior senator to come up here again. He has a proclamation. This is from the entire United States Senate recognizing Brandon's work. And I also would like Brandon to come up as I present him with the Clifford Beer Centennial Award this evening. Thank you.
What happened to the lights here? It's a movie. I got it.
Thank you for this wonderful honor, this wonderful award. Frankly, I'm a little bit incredulous to be receiving it, especially in the face of the amazing legacy of Clifford Beers and the organization and clinic he left behind to help people know. But I do see it as a wonderful gift, and I appreciate it truly, and I intend to pay it forward. 23 years ago, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia. The shame I felt of having a mental illness, coupled with the bewildering delusions and depression that I experienced, caused me at one point to want to lie down and die. Thank God, today I thank God that I saw the reasons to live back then and came up with one, curiosity. I've been working with chimps at the open zoo, and still I'd never seen a male chimp perform a dominance display flamboyant flailing and hooting, of which I've read in Jane Goodall's works. I knew then that I wanted to see one, and that by extension that I had much left to learn about the world. So I got up and moved on. And in the years that followed, my loving family and my doctor helped me recover. Mom and Dad, thank you.
Okay, I just got to keep this going.
These years have taught me that if you have a mental illness, telling people about your story can not only empower you, but do the important work of educating people about the beauty and potential and worth inherent in people like us, as in anyone. Of course, such sharing must be done with care. One of my favorite stories comes from a party in which I told a new acquaintance that I had schizophrenia, that I was managing and doing fine now. My wife chimed in with, "But you should see him at home," and began humming the theme from the movie Psycho. Wait, 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 wait. I looked at her, she looked back at me, and we both busted out laughing. And this gentleman, he looked a little worried at first, and then he relaxed and he smiled. He told me that he suffered from depression. And we became friends after talking about mental health advocacy for a while. As they say in comedy, timing and attitude are key. Today I am proud to be Communications Director for International Mental Health Research Organization, or IMRO. The main part of my work involves informing the interested public about the amazing science that for better therapies and cures and diagnostics that IMRO-funded scientists do. I do this to build hope in those who find their flagging. Unfortunately, there's much reason for hope in today's neuroscience. As an example, I give you the two IMRO Janssen Rising Star winners for 2013. I'll describe their work. Dr. Clifford of Duke is doing the basic brain science behind the development of sort of new kind of pacemaker for the brain. A device that could work could actually help normalize the neural circuit synchrony that is dysfunctional, is believed in mental illness. As another example, Dr. Phil Corlett of Yale is going to do a human clinical trial of a brand new possible drug for schizophrenia called anticotinine that already exists and is being used for epilepsy, so it should potentially be easier to get into actual use than a drug which is completely new in development. This is big. As a third example, I give you the cognitive training games being developed by such scientists as Sophia Vinogradov and UCSF. These computer exercises have been shown to actually improve the thinking skills, quality of life, and employment prospects by a large degree. I just was at a talk at the International Congress on Schizophrenia Research showing a 22-point IQ gain for people with schizophrenia who use these games, and a 12 times increase in employment possibility for people who use these games. Combined with psychosocial university. One of these computer exercise programs helped me when I was very sick, and it's helped me to recover. Sharing these developments with you makes me happy to be alive. If you'd like to learn more about today's neuroscience, please ask me. Thank you. Please enjoy the evening.